Salute to everyone who's welcome back to Dominant. So, just in case you can't hear the sound, please read the subtitles because I'm still trying to figure out if Zoom will allow me to review the video sounds and all of that. But this is a video that I've found on the news on Checkpoint ENCA that speaks about how much the country hates boys, and I will talk about it. So I want us to review this amazing footage together where there's an interview. I haven't watched the video. I did the video before, but turns out that the sound did not come out, but this time I hope it does. And we'll review some certain parts of this video. Let's check it out.
Don't seem to be changing. Actually, some of these are getting worse. And one of those issues is contained in this book. And that's why we have Dr. Mzamo Masito with us to launch this Checkpoint podcast called What is the Real Problem?
I want people to think, do, and feel differently about boys and men. And I want us to have a fresh dialogue about gender equality not being a zero-sum game. And I want to...
So firstly, I applaud this man's balls to do this. The reason why gender equality is a term that is used these days is that I want to take 2 minutes just to explain this. You see, there's no such thing as gender equality. Gender equality is a term that was used by women to innovate men. And unfortunately, when people scream out gender equality, you know it favors women. Women want the equality without the responsibility. And this statement is something that will make me look like I don't consider women as strong. This is very much a big deal to me because of how much the system has ruined not only our women but men as well. Because this idea of gender equality, something I know about idea and I've learned about an idea is that say it enough times and convince people that it is true for them, and people will end up they'll end up believing it. That is why right now women empowerment has been bragged about a lot of time, talked about a lot of times, that men's empowerment is not important. That is why you don't see men's empowerment and you'll see this women empowerment. But let me just try to skip the video and just get the gist of it. Let us
not be the only reason.
This is the part I actually want us to.
You have to pick one. And it's not end. It's either or.
Some people would argue, Mzamo, that you boys blame your bad behavior on being left behind or being neglected or abandonment by your fathers. How would you respond to that?
It's partly true. So it might not be the only reason why we are being left behind. It is like someone saying the reason society is bad is because of patriarchy. That's like...
So what he's saying is true. But it is majority of the times it's mostly true. It's not the only factor that influences children from doing their bad behaviors, but it's a major part of why a lot of children these days behave the way that they behave, because of fatherlessness. You see, the role of a father is to instill tools in the child that will allow the child to strive in life. And unfortunately, these tools, the mother will try by all means to give these tools, but The unfortunate part is that the mother does not know how to reinforce them as much as the father. Because now the mother is the one that is going to say, oh, my child, like, if you can't do it, it's fine. But the father is going to be like, do it. And you will see if you can do it. You can't say you can't do it and think that people are going to just say that you can't do it. That is the difference. So when there's a lack of fatherhood, or because it's not only about physical fatherhoodness, it's about an emotional investment and mental investment that fathers do, or that fathers play in the child's life, that most children are lacking, especially boys. Because now when boys don't experience that love from their father, what do you think they're going to end up? They're going to become losers.
Like ultimate reductionist in monism or parsimony, where you take one word and you ascribe it to everything to explain the complexities and
let me just keep this
of men.
And see what
Afraid of them.
About.
I'm afraid of men, and probably because of the kind of work that I do, they are in the majority of the inflictors of pain on other people, both men and women. And you go into that in the book. Just expand.
I'm glad that you used the word, I don't hate men, but I'm afraid of men. Because the first part that people forget, no man is born a man. We are all born boys who become men. And we forget that head boys become head men. Hence that, because I feel like society forgets that you can't...
We detach
men and boys as if the two, as if some people are just born with full-blown testosterone. And
so, this is a emotional... I don't want to show my emotions with this review, but it's an emotional thing because it's my purpose to get the men back to dominion. So what he's talking about is that we are born as males, and boys are different from men in a lot of aspects. So there's a difference between growing old and growing up. And when you don't experience the father's love, and at the same time the world is telling you that, oh, it's okay to just show your feelings everywhere, it's okay to be a feminist, it's okay to be gay because of 1, 2, 3, it's okay for you to be in your feelings, it's okay to be feminine. What happens is that you end up sticking to being a boy for the rest of your life. And a father, or when you project someone to be a father, because sometimes you might have a father physically, but emotionally you might not have one, and you see someone and another man being a father more than your actual father, you end up developing those tools. You see, males are destroyed for a reason. It's far beyond what we can comprehend physically. You see, if I could digress a bit, the male is destroyed by the devil for a reason. As I've said before in so many videos, and the reason why I started the Back to Dominance ministry for men is that the first ever message that I ever taught them is that the male is the foundation. And because the devil knows that the male is the foundation, he will do by all means to make sure that the foundation is not fit to be the foundation. So what he does is that he motivates women, he empowers women, he makes women be leaders more than men. Why? It is because of the fact that women are easier for the devil to distract and control more than men. How do I know that? The first woman who was deceived was a woman. And because he knows that women are emotional creatures, they are feelings creatures, it's not easy for them to take on criticism. For example, if you tell a woman that she's fat, she's into her feelings. The devil knows those things. So they're easy to manipulate. So, because of the fact that they're easy to manipulate, what he's done is that he's manipulating them by giving them all these women empowerment seminars. And in those women empowerment seminars, what he does is that, I'm not saying women empower seminars are not important. So what he does is that he does two things. He makes the woman undesirable to the men, and he makes the women hate men. I've been to enough women's seminars to know what they talk about there. They never talk about the word of God, the way the woman should be submissive to a man, obedient to a man, and being a helper. They always talk about being independent and being independent from a man, telling them they don't need a man, telling them that they can be single parents and it does not make a difference. They tell them those things, and it's too much, actually.
They're already ready for work or ready for let's kill kids. But these are the three. But somehow, what men feel sometimes when we say femicide is a national crisis, but we forget that if there's 100 people who die from homicide, 90 are men and 10 are women. Why are we not saying the country's problem is violence? The national crisis is violence. Men and women are dying, killed. Majority of the people who kill are men. That's a good thing to say. And then,
thank you. Been saying that for all this time. When I said that this thing of the gender-based violence is following a narrative where every perpetration of violence and killing, when it's done by men, it's called gender-based violence. And I said it in my review, in my Love and Sex series on how to prevent gender-based violence. I would advise you to actually watch that. I said that when you want to push a narrative, you twist it. And what is happening right now is that because this gender-based violence is pushed in the Purple Gang, what is happening is that they are pushing the narrative of manipulating women to hate men. That is why you would see in so many podcasts, they say that I would rather be stuck with a bear in the woods than a man, because I know a man can do more damage to me than a bear. And you hear that nonsense, you say, oh, I can't believe they said that.
And we can unite as men and women against a national crisis, which is violence, which is killing men, women, and children. But when we start saying the national crisis on violence or violent deaths, which is homicide, is only women, we exclude the 90 that also died. And we create divisions between ourselves.
That's how ideologies work. When you want to push a narrative, what you do is that you tell people enough times about something that kills, and you make it look like it. That's what happened with COVID-19. COVID-19 did not kill as many people as it did. The underlying illnesses killed those people. COVID-19 was just the deterrent on a person's body that allowed the other diseases to kill the person. Is the same as this gender-based violence. They push every time. If right now a person rapes, a man rapes a certain woman on the streets, they call it gender-based violence. That is not gender-based violence. It's raping. It's a random person raping. I said that gender-based violence is within the context of a relationship. And in the context of a relationship, you will see that the number of people that die or they get raped is not the same as the number that they tell you when they say that, 1 out of 5 women are raped, they experience some sort of gender-based violence. That is not true. Because now, when you see gender-based violence, they make the narrative of saying that men are always the perpetrators and women are not. And when the women are the perpetrators, they never put it in that narrative. That is why I say that when these women empowerment are growing and men empowerment are not given the platform, the men will feel like their space on earth is useless. I actually want to go more forward in this video than what I said.
Mental gymnasium of over-rationalizing their father's absence. And now I have to try and figure out, like, intellectually that, oh, maybe I'm actually should be grateful that he was not there.
Maybe I'm better off.
But it was not his choice.
It was not your choice.
It was not my choice.
He forced that choice onto you.
Yes. Yeah. Whereas no one knows how I would have turned out if he was present. You don't know.
So one of the biggest factors to children in prison and doing bad behaviors is the lack of fatherhood. Sometimes it's either is too much or too little. And like I said, when fathers are there for their children mentally and emotionally, it makes a difference. I actually did research on that. I finished it, I think, last year on April. I'll put the link in the description of that research. I actually would make I'm going to make a video out of it, actually. So, the point that I'm trying to make here is that when we push this narrative, because there's a lot of programs on television of telling people how strong these single mothers are and how weak fathers are, that idea is possessing a lot of people. So I'll give my final thoughts after we've watched this clip for the next 2 times.
And also, I think there's a part of me that feels like something's missing. I can't explain it. It's a mystery to me that you can't explain, that something is missing. It's like half of you is missing and you want this puzzle to be whole. And when you think that if you meet your father, you will become whole and you will kind of understand yourself better.
You see, this is the second last part I want to review. The father, people are inheritance of their father's sins. That's what they call generational curses. And if you don't know your father, you end up inheriting his sins without you realizing it. And it's almost impossible for you to actually know what to do if you're not aware what it is that you are inheriting from your father. So that is why a lot of people are desperate. Those who don't have fathers, they're desperate. They know that there's a hole inside of them, and they think that if they see their father, that hole will be filled. And I pray for those people to get out of that zone, that sometimes they're desperate enough to the point that if they find their fathers, they would lose themselves. They would be disappointed that they don't get to experience a father's love. If there's someone who's decided to step up and be their father, was their uncle, their brothers, and all of that, they can experience the father's love the way that their biological fathers might not have. So let's review this footage for the last time.
And you will become even a better man, as illogical as it is. But remember, this is the heart and emotion and it's spiritual issue. It's no longer just your IQ or cerebral. It's deeper than that. It's feelings you don't even know where they're coming from. And it's just also because maybe abandonment is trauma and abandonment is a wounding. So you're walking with this wound and you're just looking for medicine. And you think maybe the best medicine is, I need to see this guy so that maybe if I do see him and I speak with him, something will happen and I will heal.
So what do we do, Mzamo? Because we are in this situation in South Africa where there are too many absent dads.
Yeah.
I mean, majority of children in South Africa are raised by single moms.
Yeah.
Number one, how do single moms raise boys better? you argue that they shouldn't be doing it on their own. There should be a father, male presence, male influence. Just expand on that.
My argument on single parenting, as much as people celebrated the outcomes, there's enough global data to prove that kids who are raised by single parents don't have great outcomes.
Thank you. Been saying that
versus kids who are raised by both parents. And I don't
proportionally.
know proportionally on average.
On average.
On average. But we are a society that doesn't necessarily want to dance and wrestle with this reality. And that
thank you. Been saying that for the longest time, that fathers are needed as much as mothers are needed. Now, society makes it look like mothers are the most important thing in the child's life. You can see the way that they treat Father's Day. I'm going to appeal to the gentleman also, but let's just finish this clip.
Actually, it takes a village. Unfortunately, with broken homes and broken communities, and we used to have larger circles to raise kids, and now those circles have become smaller. And my argument is just that if my sister is raising a son alone, I need to be the social father to my sister's son, my nephew. And that my sister needs to know that there is a social father that she can run to, that me and her, we can take up this responsibility of raising this boy so that he becomes a whole boy instead of just only being raised by a woman. Like, for example, my case, my stepfather, as violent and abusive as he was, he saved my life. My biological father abandoned me when I was an adolescent teenager, stepped in my stepfather, and he found out that, oh, this one is selling drugs. And immediately he took me to Boy Scouts. And he took me and made sure I'm an altar boy. Just those two eggs. I'm here today and I'm a doctor because someone, a male figure, intervened.
But as women, we don't trust, we're afraid of men. So how do we allow, if I'm a single mom, how do I allow another man in my son's world, life? Because I love my son. I want to protect him with everything. And these men that we hate, we don't trust.
Yep. And it's
what do we do?
That's why I'm even arguing for cases where let's use technology. In the book I talk about, is there a way we can democratize social fathers the same way we democratize dating apps? People go on dates and they go on dates with strangers that they only looked at a picture and they swipe.
Okay, let me just stop it right there because he's saying something very much important, but I don't think that it's something we need to entail right now. So my final thoughts on what the gentleman is saying. What the gentleman is saying is a good fight. I hope that if he sees this video, we can actually hit me up also. But the point I'm trying to make is that what he's saying is absolutely true. This is something that I talk about too much in my Back to Dominance ministry, and I talk about this. And unfortunately, when you scrutinize such things, you're going to be seen as toxic and some sort of sexist person. This is a sensitive topic to me, not because I don't have my father's here and my mother's is here. They've been married for more than 35 years. And I found my purpose. My purpose is that the family to go back to dominion. And for them to go back to dominion is to look at the male first. The devil knows what he's doing when he touches the family through the male. That's why you can see so many feminine men. You can see so many homosexual men. You can see men that are not in their purpose. They don't know their identity. They are gang members. They are drunkards. They are doing all of it, whatever that they're doing. They don't know how to settle down. They want to settle down in later years. It's because of the fact that the devil knows what he's doing. And he's continuing to do it because he knows that once the man goes back to dominion, the society will go back to God. But he doesn't want that. So what he does is that what he's doing all that was mentioned in this video. And I'm going to put in a link in the description of my Back to Dominance Ministry channel so that you can join wherever you are. So give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below, and check out the article in the description. Ignored Parenting, what is the role of the father, and the Back to Dominance Ministry channel in the description. Always remember, /TechXYS Soldier salute you out.